welcome to another episode of the Cutting Edge Figure Skating Podcast. My name is Kim Dunaway, and in this episode, I'll be covering the women's event at Skate America 2024. This event was incredibly close. The top 5 ladies were separated by less than 5 points. And that means that every level on every step sequence, every spin mattered. A cue call, an under rotation call, all of those things can be at times more than a point. And so it was very much critical in the order of how these ladies finished. One call made the difference here between being on the podium and not, and winning or not. The winner here, and quite surprisingly so, was Wakaba Higuchi from Japan. There's a lot of Japanese press at this event, like an incredible amount, which makes sense. They had a very strong contingent and they won 2 of the events here. And this event, they had 2 ladies on the podium. And so there were a couple of Japanese journalists that asked Wakaba at the press conference about the fact that this was her 14th, they said, Grand Prix event. And she had debuted in 2016 and it took her so long to win a Grand Prix event finally. And how did it feel? And Wakaba was like, I'm surprised. I did not expect to win. I was shocked when I saw 130 points after my program. And that when she first came on to the Grand Prix, that she was aiming to win. And at this point, she was just trying to go out there and skate well. And they also asked her about the Olympics. Like, the Olympics is not far away. Is that on your mind? And she's like, not really. I'm just trying to really focus on this season, on my next event, which makes sense because Japan is so incredibly competitive. And Wakaba did pretty well on the Grand Prix last season, but she didn't make Grand Prix final. She didn't win a Grand Prix. She didn't have a triple axel. Like, they just had, you had Rion Sumiyoshi landing a quad, and you had Hana Yoshida, and you had Mona Chiba, who also ended up winning 4 continents. But we know that the Japanese Federation really puts a big priority on Grand Prix events, and winning a Grand Prix is what helped Rinka make the world team 2 years ago. It's what helped Soda make the world team 2 years ago. And so winning a Grand Prix here, I think, really helps her chances going forward at making the world team. So her short program, she's one of many doing a dune program. And frankly, I thought this was going to be the best dune program that we would see this weekend, but we'll talk about in the ice dance. It was not. So, but still, very good program. The footwork sequence for me is what really stands out. It's really powerful. She did get a call. It was a clean program for her. She did get a call on her triple toe and her triple Lutz triple toe combo. But she was the first one out, which I think affected her scores because frankly, I thought a 66 was too low for her program. And ultimately didn't matter. She was able to win. But I thought she probably should have gone 68. I thought that was fair. It was a lower scoring women's event. We didn't have a single lady that scored 70 in the short program, and nobody hit 200 either. And her free skate, I really liked it when I saw her run through at practice. It's a really fantastic program, but the second half, when like the running up that heel comes on, it just kind of takes it to another level. And I don't know that it's specifically a Stranger Things program, but she does like put her hands out like creepy fingers at some point, kind of like Thriller. So it's definitely at least a little bit inspired, at least in that section. Like, I actually had chills in practice. And so I was like, oh, this is going to be a real banger if she can go out there and just really nail it. What she did, the only mistake in her program, well, there were 2 things. The first was she did not get the triple toe off in her Lutz toe combo. It was just a double toe. So it's not a negative GOE thing. It just meant that it lowered her base value, which in the short program, she ended up with an undercall on that. So there was obviously no undercall typically on a double toe. And so she didn't have an issue in that front. And then on her second triple Lux, she actually stepped out of it. And so that was the main error that she had, but nothing major. Really loved the program. Loved the costume, the whole thing. And she was fourth after the short and ends up in the first position. So really great for her. I think everybody was happy for Wakaba because it's been, she was injured right after having that really fantastic Olympic season. It's been a bit of an uphill climb for her. And so to have her reach the top spot felt really satisfying. Second place here was our second Japanese lady on the podium, and that was Rinka Watanabe. And I said probably last week as I was previewing this event that she's a huge wild card because you just never know what you're going to get. So Rinka's strategy coming into this event was really to go clean. And so she wasn't going to attempt to do the triple axel here. It was really just to try to go and do 2 clean, consistent programs. And so that strategy worked for her as she was able to make it to the top second spot on the podium. And frankly, I thought she was going to go into the lead after her free skate, but she was the victim of like so many ladies of the tech collar. So in the short program, clean program, I think she's really an underrated artist. I don't think she really has any weaknesses, honestly. She's a good spinner. She's a good jumper. I love how she sets up for her step sequence. It's very old school. She starts at the back of the boards and sort of get that little pause before she goes into it. I wouldn't mind seeing more speed at the end of her step sequence. And frankly, I thought it was really strong. I thought she deserved a standing ovation. In the free skate, somebody asked her in the press conference about working with Lori Nickel. And Rinka said that Lori Nickel actually suggested her skating to Mask of Zorro, which I think would have been a really interesting program. But Rinka said she just couldn't see herself skating to it. And so Lori Nickel was like, okay, well, you did really well with Tango de Roxanne a few years back. What about Maria Buenos Aires? And they had a really deep discussion for like 2 or 3 hours. And she ended up really liking that idea and sort of going with that. And she really likes this program. In her free skate, she really just kept my attention the whole time. Like I just really enjoyed both of her performances. I think when she's on and she's skating clean, she's literally one of the best in the world. The inconsistency definitely affects her GOE. It affects her PCS. And obviously she had a lot of issues here with under rotation calls. She ended up getting an undercall on her triple toe and her triple loop, triple toe combo. And she ended up getting an undercall on her second triple lutz. And those were crucial. She just had one of those not called under, she would have won the competition. But getting them both called under caused her to fall below Wakaba and end up second. So Jackie Wong was convinced after the short program that her triple loop, triple toe combo was under, but it wasn't called, but it was called in the free skate. Someone asked her in the press conference after the short program what happened on the triple lutz and why she decided not to do a triple lutz, triple toe combo. And she corrected them and was like, that was not the intention. Like I had always planned to do either a flip toe or a loop toe, just kind of whatever was going better in practice. And so the loop toe was what they ultimately went with because that one had been more consistent. And I do remember pretty strongly that she did the triple loop, triple toe last year also. Like I know she did it 4 continents. And so I wasn't surprised by that, but it was good for her to clear that up in case people thought that was the case. And third place was Isabelle Levito, and she definitely came in as the favorite. I said in the Grand Prix assignments episode back in the summer that both of her Grand Prix were pretty tough, and I felt like this one was probably the easier of the 2. And so to get third here is definitely disappointing for her, but she's still on the podium. It's not the end of the world. Like Isabeau's very hard on herself, and you could see her dangerously wanting to cry through the medal ceremony, parts of the post press conference. It was very tough. When you're the last one to skate, you don't get any time to really mourn your program. You've got to go straight into the medal ceremony if you made the podium, and straight into press conferences, and you haven't really had time to even kind of process what just happened. And the short program is really strong. Easy, clean combo. I feel like her camel spin is still kind of wonky, but it's one of those programs that to the naked eye looks very strong. She ended up with an undercall on her triple toe and her Lutz toe combo also, but really the issues were on the last three elements in her program. So her step sequence only got a level 2, and both of her last two spins, her layback spin, her combination spin, only got a level 3. And those loss in levels caused her to be under a 70 in the short program. And unfortunately for her, just didn't get enough padding that she needed from the short program to sort of help to pad the mistakes in the free skate. So in the free skate, it was going pretty well until she fell on her triple Lutz towards the end of the program. Big issue there was it did not get all the way around, which means that it got a full downgrade. And so that lost some base value for her, which again was the difference between her getting third here and winning. Had she gotten that triple Lutz all the way around and so fallen on it, she likely still would have won. But a full downgrade is a big difference between a 6.49, which you'd get in a triple Lutz in the second half, versus the 1.85 that she ended up with from the downgraded Lutz, plus she got an edge call. So these were all the calls that Isabelle got. She got an unclear edge on her triple Lutz at the beginning of the program and a Q call on the triple toe that followed it. She got a undercall on the triple Salchow and her triple flip Euler triple Salchow combo. She got an edge call and a full downgrade on the Lutz that she fell on. She got a Q on the triple flip double toe combination, and she only got a level 2 on her step sequence. So pretty much any of those, one less error, one less call would have been the difference probably with her winning. Depending on the call, definitely the difference between her winning. So she was definitely bummed, but she still leaves here as the number 1 woman at this competition. She didn't get beaten by Elise Len Gracie like a lot of people were predicting, and Brady also had mistakes late in her free skate as well. Also had a chance to win. So it sort of goes to some of the inconsistencies that we have seen from Isabelle, but reigning world silver medalist, I'll continue to give her the benefit of the doubt. In fourth place here was Nina Pinzeroni, who was one of my picks for the podium. I felt like she was very much forgotten, and I think she firmly established herself as a leading lady yet again after this competition. Both of her programs are really beautiful. The short program is to a Swan Lake, a little bit different style than you typically see. She totally kills it. 62 points though. When the scores came up, I was like, really? So she had some issues on 2 of her spins, and that was really a big issue for her in the short program. And that's really what kept her from being on the podium, because she scored 130 points in her free skate. But all of the other ladies were really bunched up after the short program. So you had Isabelle, who got like 68 points, but you had Brady, Rinka, and Wakaba all with 66 points within 0.8 points of each other. Whereas Nina was down at 62. So she really needed to hit it out of the park to make the podium. And frankly, she almost did. So in her free skate, she is skating to The Handmaid's Tale. And there's actually like some voiceovers in the beginning. And I saw a lot of people going, oh, this is totally an inappropriate program for her. She's too young for this program. Well, she said after she skated that the program is not about The Handmaid's Tale at all. Like, Benoit has concocted this whole different story. And this is from Golden Skate. The story we created to this program is that I portray a girl whose boat sank and she died. She gets one last opportunity to see the world and say goodbye to her friends and family. And towards the end, she knows, though, that she has to leave. I try to transmit the story to the audience, but I think it will be even better as the season progresses. So it has nothing to do with The Handmaid's Tale. They're just using music. Interesting. It's really a gorgeous piece. She's such a really artistic skater. I think they could lean into some Sasha Cohen-like qualities with her because she has that kind of ability with her flexibility. Like, she has this beautiful, like, I don't even know what you call it, like knee slide across the ice at some point in the free skate. She is somebody to me that has really nice speed and nice ice coverage at the beginning of her programs, but it tends to wane as the program goes on. And that's something that she could work on also going forward. Girlfriend got like 130 points in her free skate. She really only had like a wonky landing on her loop, and she was talking after the events, like, yeah, I really didn't do well. And I was like, did we watch were you present for the same program that we were? Because I thought you were fabulous. So, but again, for her, a call here or there could have made a world of difference. If she had had an issue with only one of her spins in the short program, if she hadn't gotten a V on one of them in the free skate, she often gets an under on her triple toe and her Lutz toe combo. So that wasn't super surprising, but she ended up with a Q on her triple Lutz double axel double toe combo. She ended up with an under on her triple loop later in the program, which is what she was talking about afterwards. So again, just one less mistake in any of those areas, and she would have been on the podium here. In fifth place was Brady Tennell. And frankly, it was just so nice to have Brady back after what she said in the press conference was just literal blood, sweat, and tears these last few years with the injury, and that she didn't know if she was going to make it back or not. Her short program is to Lord of the Dance. She's double axel, just like right on the music. She did get an undercall on her triple Lutz triple toe combo as well, but it was pretty on brand with what everybody else was getting in the event. But it was clean skate for her, and it was so good for her to have that moment, because I thought she was a little slow is not the right word, but I felt like that morning in her run through that she was about like a 7, and I felt like you need to be on like a 10 for Lord of the Dance. Like, it requires a certain level of energy, and I felt like she brought it when the lights were on. And she said she really drew energy from the crowd, which I thought, from the sparse crowd, good for you. I know, being very cynical there, but yeah, she was very complimentary of the energy of the crowd, and the crowd was really great with all of the American skaters. And so she was asked after the short program, like, how's it feel to be back? She said it was hard to describe how it feels, that there were times when she wasn't sure that she would be able to come back, that she really doubted it, and that she just tried to skate the way that she trains every day. And she said that every time that she comes back from an injury, because this is not the first time that this has happened to her, that it feels a bit different, but you grow in a different way. She was in second after the short program in a medal position. She comes into the free skate and is skating so well. And then just pops that final triple Lutz. And I was like, oh, she needed it. I knew she needed it because everybody else was doing really well. She needed, I think, 100, right at 130 points. I think it was 129.95 is what she needed to take the lead at that point from Wakaba. And I just didn't see how she was going to get it with that pop triple Lutz, and she didn't. But strangely enough, she also had an issue on a spin. And again, like everyone else, that's why I keep underscoring all of the little mistakes that everybody made, because they each had an opportunity to win the whole shebang. So in Brady's free skate, she ended up with a V on her combo spin. And one of the things I noticed in practice with Brady was that she's such a good spinner. And so it was, I know, disappointing for her to get into the program and for those to just kind of betray her here. And then she got a level 2 on her step sequence. She ended up with an undercall on her double axel triple toe combo, which she came in with a little bit lower base value than a lot of the other ladies because she didn't do a straight triple in the free skate at all. She just had the double axel triple toe combo late. But I didn't think it was a bad strategy because she does often get undercalls on that second jump. And so go out and get a program that you get clean and avoid any calls. But it required her to be able to skate just cleanly, really. And unfortunately that popped lutz. But like I said, she had the V on the spin, level 2 on the step sequence, the under on that triple toe, and then she also ended up with a level 3 on both of her 2 final spins. And unfortunately for her, just took her from second to fifth. She was just less than 3 points away from getting on the podium. So very close. In fact, if she had landed that triple lutz at that point in her program, again, 6.49 points plus GOE, she was less than 5 points away from winning. That would have done it. That would have done it. So incredibly close. In sixth place here was Elise Len Gracie of the US. And she came in with a lot of pressure. She said she definitely felt the nerves coming into her first Grand Prix. It's her first year in seniors. I think she'll be fine. I'm not worried that she didn't produce the same results that she had at Lombardia when she won a month ago. It was a great win for her, clearly. Not Lombardia, Nebelhorn. Amber Glenn won Lombardia. But I know she wanted to do well here. And the thing about her is she is somebody that just nails it in practice. I mean, jump after jump. Her run through earlier that day was really fantastic. She went out in the short program and just nailed a triple lutz, triple toe right before her program while she was waiting for the scores for the previous competitor. But just did not work out for her in the short program. She did a nice triple lutz, but she was kind of slow getting into the triple toe and just basically fell. It wasn't a fall. She put both of her hands down. I think it was. She did ultimately fall on the double axel, which you can imagine she can do those in her sleep. But unfortunate for her there with the nerves. It's a really pretty program. She's a lovely Ina Bauer in there. In the long program, she did the same thing she did in the short program. Did triple lutz while she was waiting for the scores. Did a triple lutz, triple toe while she was waiting on Olivia Kaiser's scores. And then she nailed the lutz triple toe that she missed in the short program here in the free skate, but she still made some mistakes. She put a hand down on her triple Salchow. I don't think I saw her miss a triple Salchow like in any of the 2 days of practices that I saw. Fell on her triple loop and stepped out of her double axel. So not the performances that she wanted. And she's got a very quick turnaround because she'll be at Skate Canada just in a few days. But she says they've got a plan to, they've been planning for this. They obviously have known that this was going to be the case. And hopefully maybe in a different country, not in the US, there'll be a little bit less pressure on her and she'll be able to bounce back a little bit better in her next Grand Prix. In seventh place was Yuna Aoki of Japan, and she had a rough short program. So she turned out of her triple lutz what she was planning to do, a triple lutz, triple loop. So she tried to add the triple loop onto her triple flip later in the program, and that just went awry. She could not get all 3 rotations done, and she came out early. She tried to save it, but ultimately she fell, and so that really put her down in the standings, and she was 9th, I believe, going into the free skate. No, she was 10th going into the free skate. But she pulled herself all the way up to 7th with a really strong long program. Her long program is to Popsicle by Chloe Flower. Gorgeous dress, probably the best dress in the competition. She did a gorgeous triple lutz, triple loop here. And right after that, she did a triple flip. And then she did a double Salchow. And then she did a double axel Euler triple flip and she turned out of it. But other than that, everything else was really strong. It's a beautiful program. Love to see her in her next Grand Prix skate cleaner because the judges love her. She pulled herself up, still got pretty good score with the mistakes that she had here in the long program. She's got all the potential in the world, just needs more consistency. In Eighth place was Livia Kaiser of Switzerland, and a lot of people had her picked her to maybe even potentially medal here, but unfortunately for her in the short program, she just did a double toe instead of a triple Lutz triple toe, and that really brought her down in the standings because we had so many good skates, and you just could ill afford to make that kind of a mistake. She is one who does a lot of jumps in practice, a lot of drills, does a lot of triple Lutzes. And I know that she was bummed that not only in the short program, but in the long program, she had the same issue, just a double toe after that Lutz. I really like the music in her short program. It's very intense. It's a different look for her. I do feel like it wears a little as the program goes. A very contrast to her long program, which is to Afternoon of the Fawn. And this is a program that I feel like could use a lot more in between choreography. She's a lovely skater, but the program is just a little dull. In ninth place was Olga Mikutina of Austria. And her short program, it was going so well. And then she popped her triple flip to a double flip. I think she had a really good footwork sequence. She has nice speed and ice coverage. But sometimes I feel like all she's got is a triple Lutz. And even in like the long program, she starts out with a nice combo and then she promptly doubles the next jump. And then she under rotates the one after that. And then she pops her double axel to a single. It's just no real consistency with her, not just here, but most of her competitions are kind of like this. If the free skate for her, she usually struggles more so than in the short program. She was skating, her and Minche Kim were skating to the same music that Aliona Savchenko and Bruno Musso used in the 2018 Olympics, same music that Hana Yoshida was using last year for part of her free skate. I've heard it a couple of times. I think I heard it in juniors too. It's been a little bit more popular these last couple of seasons. Beautiful dresses in both of Olga's programs. I really like them. In 10th place was Minche Kim of Korea. And I was watching her in practice and I'm like, she could be that third Korean lady because we've got Chaeyeon Kim and hopefully Yellen Kim will be back, but we need one more because Hyein Lee, Young Yu, suspended currently. And so who's going to be that next Korean lady? And she had a really good, clean, short program. She held my attention. I knew she probably wasn't going to get the scores that some of the other ladies got, but she found herself in that last group with the performance that she had. But the long program was just not as successful. Gorgeous dress. There was her second jumping pass. She ended up really close to the boards. And so I wondered if she meant to do a triple there instead of a triple double like she did. She had a couple mistakes, a pop jump and a late fall, and she just kind of plummeted, unfortunately, and went from 6th to 10th. And 11th place was Leah Cerna of France. And in her short program, she's using the same music that Efimova and Mitrofanov used in their short program last year. It was just a struggle, just a big, big struggle. Didn't get the triple toe all the way around in her combo. She turned out of her double axel. She fell on her solo triple. She got negative GOE on 2 of her spins and a rare level 1 on her layback. So she got a 42.85, which was just ouch. A really, really bad ouch. Luckily for her, the long program did go better. She was skating to Exogenesis Symphony number 2. Hello, somebody who chose Muse other than Symphony number 3. She was also using Uprising from Muse also. The first half went well jump-wise, but then there were like 3 jumping passes in a row that didn't go well. Started with the triple Lutz double axel combo late in her program, and then the triple toe, double loop, and then ultimately she fell on her triple flip. It's interesting music. Her jumpsuit is really cool. It's just not a lot, any real connection to the music, not really any attempt to sort of draw the crowd into it. It's just kind of there. And then in 12th place was Sofia Stepchenko of Latvia. And her short program, she just got off a double flip. And so she did get a triple toe off of that. But obviously lost points in base value from doubling her triple flip. Looks like she 2-footed her triple loop. I can see potential, but I just want her to extend more. She had a whole lot of things under review. And so it did not go well for her either. And she was another one that got less than 45 points in her short program. And then in the free skate, I thought she had a beautiful start, like some of the other ladies. And then just things kind of fell off. The wheels kind of fell off a little bit, doubled some jumps, and ultimately fell on one. I did feel like she maintained the quality throughout. Judges didn't really seem to think so as much, however, and she dropped a place to end up in 12th. So that was the ladies event. So Pamchenko Award, I'll give an honorable mention to Nina Pinzeroni. I thought both of her programs, but especially the free skate, was so good. But obviously, I've got to give it to Wakaba. Wakaba's free skate was a real highlight of the whole event for me. And so that is the winner of my Pamchenko Award for this discipline. And then looking forward to Skate Canada coming up in just a few days. We've got 3 ladies from Canada: Sarah Moy Dupuis, Kaya Ruder, Madeline Skizis. We've got Rino Mitsuke, Kairi Sokomoto, Hana Yoshida from Japan, Yellen Kim, Seong Wee from Korea, Katarina Kurakova of Poland, Kimi Rapon from Switzerland, Elise Len Gracie, and Alyssa Yu from US. So this is a pretty stacked Grand Prix. Frankly, all the women's Grand Prix this season are pretty stacked. This is no exception. A couple things I'm looking for at this one. One, Kaya Ruder. She is still chasing tech minimums in her short program. So that is something to watch here. Both Madeline and Sarah Moy Dupuis have their tech minimums. The other thing would be Hana Yoshida. Triple axel, no triple axel. Hopefully not in the short program. It's not been consistent. We'll see what she does with that. And then Kimi Rapon. Kimi's coming off of her best short program ever at Budapest Trophy. Can she build upon that? Because we have not seen her at her best in the Grand Prix. Would love to see her skate well here. And then how does Elise bounce back? And what does Alyssa look like in her first Grand Prix appearance? She won Budapest Trophy just a couple weeks ago. She beat Kimi Rapon. Kimi did beat her in the free skate. So it's easy to pick the favorite here, and that's Kaori, who is won 3 world titles in a row now. She's on quite a nice little winning streak since anybody has beaten her. Hana Yoshida would probably be my pick, but she's also very inconsistent. I'm really, really hoping for a good showing for Yellen Kim in this Grand Prix. It's hard for me to say that's my podium because I'm looking at Alyssa and I'm going, I feel like Alyssa could get on there. I mean, heck, so could Elise. But yeah, let's just go with, I don't know. I'm torn. I'm torn between Alyssa and Hana Yoshida. And Yellen Kim too, frankly, for that matter. So what does it matter? I mean, my picks largely outside of the men for Skate America were pretty terrible. So let's go with Kaori for the win. Let's go with Hana Yoshida for silver, and I'm going to say Yellen Kim for bronze. I'm going to stick with that, and then, who knows, maybe Alyssa sneaks her way in there some kind of way, and we'll see. All right, thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. If you listen on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe. If you are listening in your podcatcher, please make sure you subscribe to that as well. You can find me on Instagram and X as Ice Skate Podcast. I posted a few videos. Well, they were stories. They might have expired by the time you get here, with the reaction from the crowd from Dennis's and Kevin Amos's short program performances. But I also posted some pictures as well from Mix Zone on Instagram. And then, of course, I'm very active on Twitter always. If you want to find me, you can find me very easily on there. All right. Feel free to comment as to what were some of your favorite programs from the women's discipline this week. And I'll be back with ice dance and men. Have a great rest of your week.